Hi, this is Rodger with my third video demo for UCOSP with the review board project. My current task is to migrate over the default reviewers to be using a conditions field rather than a manually created file regex. Currently, I've been trying to fix the regression tests from the fields that are no longer used, such as file regex and repository fields, and migrating them over to be able to accept and to use the conditions field. Um, and to add a new feature, which is to migrate the repositories widget to actually be used inside the conditions field. So I can demonstrate that here, what I've been able to do so far. So the default reviewers here, which have a description of none, are default reviewers that haven't been converted to using the conditions fields for repositories. So when I actually load it up, it's going to actually run the function that will actually synchronize the repositories column with the condition set stored inside the default reviewer. And you won't see the repositories field anymore. You'll now have a condition which will list all the repositories that a default reviewer is associated with. Right now, this only works when loading a previously created default reviewer to actually synchronize the two fields, because the code that runs has to actually interact with the many-to-many relationship between the repositories column in the database and the actual default reviewer. So I can't do that on create. Anyways, here you can see that this default reviewer is only associated with one repository, so that's all that's highlighted. But we can highlight two by holding Shift and then hitting Save, and then we'll also have to add a description field because it's mandatory, but there wasn't one before. So now we'll add that. The main issues right now are to update the regression tests that I've already fixed to actually account for the fact that these conditions will now be updated to hold these repositories, as well as be able to manage whenever we're saving or creating default reviewers to actually make sure that the columns in the database are up to date with the conditions. Yeah, that's it. Thanks.